Retro Gaming Radio. I'm Shane Armanero, your host, comprehensive online source. Welcome to Retro Gaming Radio. Welcome to Retro Gaming Radio. Comprehensive online. I'm Shane Armanero, your host. Welcome to the program. Hi, folks. Welcome to the June 2002 edition of Retro Gaming Radio. This is Shane Armanero, your host, here with my producer, Bryan Kid Hype Smith. Welcome to the program. After last month's show, we have so much email, both good and bad, I should mention, and so many things to talk about. This is going to be a very busy month. First of all, we're going to read some of your email here on the show. We're going to respond to those directly. We're going to finish our part 2 of Chrono Trigger, and we have an interesting little intro for that. Some people take things way too seriously. We're also going to talk about a CGE update. We got lots of new stuff to talk about for that. It's going to be great stuff. We also have an interview with Ron Corcoran, who represents Twin Galaxies. They are, of course, the official world record for video games. Here in the greater universe, they have the ultimate scoreboard up. They've been tracking video games since video games were even popular. Good things with Twin Galaxies. Ron will be in for the studio for that. Let's see, what else do we got? We got some new announcements from X Arcade. Oh, we're going to have Bryan come on in and take the microphone and tell you about what he thought of his visit down here. Of course, as you know, Bryan, my producer, is up in Reno, Nevada. The show here originates in Phoenix, Arizona. And Bryan came down to cut a show with us last month. And he's going to give you sort of an idea as to what it was like to come down here and have an entire weekend of just classic gaming. So I'm really looking forward to that segment. It's nice to have Bryan do a segment or two on the show. Anyway, well, let's move on. We got so much to cover, I can't sit here and prattle for too long. I'd like to read a couple of listener mails here. I think it's important that we represent both communities, the people who have loved Retro Gaming Radio as of late and people who have not, and maybe talk a little bit and rant a little bit about what the show's purpose is. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe people don't have enough of an idea as to what we're really trying to accomplish here, and why this show exists to begin with. We're going to talk about that. But first, let's read some mail. We're going to start off with a note from Frank N. I'm going to keep everybody's name sort of out of it, even though, when you write to the show, I have the right to use your name on the air, but we're going to keep things kind of nice. Shane, I wrote you a while back telling you what a blast I had listening to the entire archives of your show on my Manhattan commute. I'm listening to your new shows, and I feel bad saying it, but Retro Gaming Radio seems to have lost something in the past 3 or 4 shows. Your definition of classic games was very tough for me to listen to. In fact, I stopped listening 15 minutes into the show, until about a week and a half later when I realized this was probably an April Fool's joke. Well, I listened to the whole thing, and I was very disappointed that it was not a joke, but indeed serious. And the whole Chrono Trigger thing, you and your friend come off really bad in that bit. And your talk about getting a show on G4 showed an alarming amount of arrogance. Okay. Like I said, I've been a fan of your show, and I'm disappointed that it's changed for the worst, at least in my opinion. I've been involved in classic gaming for a long time, and I've seen other people become arrogant and deluded because their fanzine has gotten somewhat popular. From an outside perspective, people like that come off as real jerks. Anyway, that's my rant. Well, Frank, I did reply to you personally, as I reply to everybody who leaves 4-letter expletives out of their email. As far as I'm concerned, if you lower yourself to saying F you or, something to that effect, your email's not even worthy for me to answer to. I mean, honestly, folks, you can keep the profanity out of it long enough, we can have a nice conversation. And I think a lot of you out there who have expressed displeasure about the show had a chance to talk, and we had some nice little mail threads. And people realize what the show is really about, and people are taking things way too seriously. And I think this is a pretty good example of it. The fact that Retro Gaming Radio seems to have lost something in the past 3 or 4 shows is very simply put, the last 3 or 4 shows have been much more of an organized format. We've been trying to include more content because a majority of our listeners said that they would like to hear more content instead of an hour of opinion. They'd like to have some more reviews and more interviews. And believe me, we've got so much of that stuff lined up. It's just a matter of getting time and organizing this stuff. These shows just don't fall out of the sky. We actually have to produce these shows, and Bryan's been doing a really good job. But what has changed is we've gone to more content And that tends to reduce the amount of rant and opinion time that we actually get to have on the show, which I think is kind of funny that this message, this email, implies that we've become more arrogant lately when we've actually reduced the amount of opinion on the show. It kind of confuses me. As for our definition of classic games, there's a couple of people who've written about this, not in this manner, but rather to say, we disagree with you. Well, that's fine. I mean, that's what this show is about, is controversy. And I'll tell you what, if this show was what everybody wanted it to be, it'd be the most boring show on the planet. If I'm not pissing somebody off every episode, be it the IDSA or Nintendo or Sony of America or Bob Smith, who listens to the show because he's a real big fan of Dragon's Lair, and we love Dragon's Lair, so we talk about it a lot. If we're not pissing somebody off, then the show's going to get stagnant. It's going to get stale. No one's going to want to listen to it. Yeah, I've already heard complaints about Dragon's Lair. Of course, there have been Dragon's Lair fans that are going, oh, yeah, we love the Dragon's Lair coverage, more Dragon's Lair. But, if we cover Dragon's Lair anymore, we might as well just call this Retro Dragon's Lair show. I mean, honestly. We can only cover this stuff so much, folks. And which goes to show that that an opinionated show like this really only works if the audience agrees with your opinion, it would seem. And as long as I'm tiptoeing around everybody and not smacking down the Super Nintendo people or smacking down the Game Boy people or whatever, then everybody's like, hey, good show, Shane, great show. Tuned in as always, great show. I can't see how you guys find the show interesting if I talk about the same happy things all the time. So every now and then, we put a little controversial bit in, like the Chrono Trigger thing. You guys know that I don't like button masher RPGs. You guys know I'm not a big Nintendo fan, and certainly of Nintendo, I'm the least favorite Super Nintendo fan. You guys should have expected this to be a total shtick bit, and it's exactly what it was. And it will be. Wait till you hear part 2 coming up today. You got to look at it, folks. This is a shtick, okay? This was something designed to get people to write in, and believe me, it worked. The show was downloaded more than any other show in history. We're still having downloads a month later, and we're still getting emails, Half of you say, yeah, good deal, yeah, Chrono Trigger sucks. And then the rest of the Chrono Trigger zealots are out there, basically saying F you this and F you that. Well, it worked. We got a lot of discussion. We got lots of letters to read on the show, and that sort of thing works out. And let's see. Let me see what else I can address in this email. Talking about a show on G4 sounded an alarming amount of ignorance. Well, the last thing, folks, that we want to be is arrogant. Arrogance doesn't really have a place in the classic gaming scene. Unfortunately, there's a whole lot of it out there. But we don't think that there should be a lot of arrogance. Writing a Z80 emulator doesn't make you godlike leadism, okay? Neither does running a show like this. Any one of you could sit down here for 5 or 6 hours a month and create a show like this. This isn't brain surgery, folks. I just happen to be one of those people that like to express my opinion. Does that make me arrogant? No. If anything, people should have thought that I was arrogant early on in my career in retro radio, because the early shows, even I listen back and go, damn, how did people like that? But people loved it. People love to listen to somebody else bitch, and I'm not sure exactly why it is, but here's my theory. Most people like routine. They like to get up in the morning, take their shower, go to work, come home, do their home thing, and then go to bed, repeat next day. People like routine. They don't like to get involved, and they like to sit back and watch, but they don't like to participate. And so when you get somebody like me, or let's say like Howard Stern. Howard Stern's a good example. People hated him. I mean, people just hated him, and people still do just completely hate him, even though 90% of his show is a shtick. And people who love Howard Stern get offended by Howard Stern, but that's why they listen. I don't know how many times you could listen to Howard Stern and start cringing in embarrassment for somebody that's on the show, or for one of the guys that they're interviewing, because but you know what? People like it. And the people who don't like Howard Stern listen to Howard Stern, but they just don't admit it, And I think what it comes down to is people like to hear somebody else, not themselves, but somebody else get up on the soapbox and bitch. They don't feel like they want to do it themselves. They don't want the change and the controversy. So they tune into somebody else who does. And I think that is what made retro gaming radio, back when it was called retro radio, very, very popular, is because, I bitched at the IDSA for what they were doing to ROM sites. I bitched at Nintendo for cracking down on Nintendo emulators. And I brought up what everybody else was thinking but didn't want to talk about. And as long as I'm talking about something that everybody feels strongly about and everyone agrees with me on, the show is good show, good show, good show. But there are parts of the gaming industry that I really hate, and I'm the first one to come out and clear the air about it and let you know I'm tired of multicolored volumetric fog. You should be thinking about writing a game that's fun to play instead of writing a game that makes use of the GeForce 3 card. I don't know. That's old shtick. I'm not even going to go into that stuff. You guys know where I sit on that one. The bottom of the truth is, folks, we get so many letters from people who are disgruntled that say, yeah, your Chrono Trigger review sucked, F you, I'm never listening to your show again. Well, all right. Let's look at that. One, by using profanity, you're not doing anything but proving I'm right about Generation Gimme, okay? The people who write to me like this gentleman, like Frank here, they can show their extraordinary displeasure without resulting to four-letter words, okay? You're never going to listen to the show again. We do care that we have a listening audience, and we do like to have people listen to the show. But I'm telling you, it's not like a department store where you go up to the manager and say, I'm never going to shop here again, and he kisses your butt until you agree to shop there again. Or you take a store credit and you walk off smiling like fries because you don't have any choice. We're here for ourselves, folks. We don't have advertisers. We don't take on sponsors. We're not making a dime from this show. The fact that one or more people stop listening to the show does not affect us financially. It doesn't give you any weight to push around. Honestly, let's look at it that way. We're here for ourselves, really. We're here to voice an opinion because we think that gaming is going into the crapper in a big, fast way. And we want to keep alive the spirit of classic video gaming. We're tired of first-person shooters. We're tired of RTSs. We want to show the people what classic gaming was like. And maybe, just maybe, keep a little bit of that alive somewhere. Okay? So don't write to us and scream and yell obscenities at us. Write like this guy did. He had valid arguments. So we take those arguments, we discuss them on the air, we let you folks know where we're coming from. Okay? I don't know how many people have written me back that have basically, chewed the show out, and then I write them back and I say, hey, I didn't even expect you to write back. I said, you know what? That's not the way we are. Because you offer a dissenting opinion to ours, we're not going to write you back, or we're not going to acknowledge that you wrote. That should be the sign of arrogance, folks, is people, if we were so arrogant, we'd just ignore your letters, we'd read all the good ones on the air about how great of a show we have. If we were arrogant people, that's what we do. But we don't. Those of you who have written derogatory statements about the show, we write you back. We either tell you why that we're doing things, or we talk about it here on the air, and that's the way I think it should be. So I think one of the most important things is, one, remember, folks, this isn't The View or Larry King or anything. We're not even Montel Williams. At best, we're Howard Stern, and that why give Howard Stern a bad name? You know what I'm saying? We're here to impart information. We're here to give you our opinions. If you don't like the opinions, you can always not listen. That's all good. We understand. We wouldn't listen to a show that we didn't, at least most of the time, agree with. But you got to admit, you throw something like Chrono Trigger out there, like the Chrono Trigger bit, and you know what? It drives some people crazy. Generates lots of mail, gets lots of downloads, lots of controversy. It's all good. Especially if you take it the way it was intended, which was completely a shtick. Anybody who takes the Chrono Trigger review as something serious, you guys are listening to the show for the wrong reason. Just relax a little bit. Have fun. If anything, that was like the ultimate April Fool's bit right there. Of course, we were a month late, but the show's been a little bit late lately. Things have been busy. Anyway, so that addresses Frank's email. And Frank, I wrote you back, and I encourage you to continue writing in the thread. I'll talk to you. Now I'd like to talk about Stephen P. He writes to the show, and he's got a bit more affirmative things to say about the show. So we're not going to read the whole thing, but I'd like to read a couple of parts of it. Hi, Shane and company at Retro Gaming Radio. First of all, thanks for Retro Gaming Radio. I agree with the vast majority of your views and thoroughly enjoy each show. I have a suggestion to put forward to make an enhancement to the classic game review part of the show. Basically, it would entail capturing some images or whatever game you're reviewing and put them on the web page or as a zip file of JPEGs, and then during the review, just mention which image we should be looking at. This way, we can at least have a visual representation of the game and the games being reviewed. You know, we tried to have the show be visually oriented, and people made it very, very clear, time and time again, that they were not interested in the visuals. Now, if enough people write, you know, feel free, write in and say, yeah, we'd like to have some visuals. Let us know. You know, we'll consider going back to that sort of a format. But for the most part, you know, people just said, listen, we put the show on in the background. We don't look at the slideshows. We don't look at the pictures. We're not interested. Just give us an MP3. So that's what we did. With respect to the ongoing debate of classic versus modern gaming, I have a few thoughts of my own. First of all, I'm a 34-year-old, so I've been around during the classic arcade years and owned a Texas Instrument TI-99-4A, Parsec rules, that's the little editor's note, computer followed by an Amiga 500, like the guy already, then a 486 PC and so on. I've never owned a console of any sort. Well, okay, everyone has their problem spots. There's some very cool consoles. I'm very fond of the Atari 2600 and Commodore 64 as my friend owned them. There seems to be a lot of general hating and let's wipe it from memory of the 1980s amongst teenagers and those in their early 20s. I've also read sections of PC game magazines that refer to the golden age of computing gaming as the early 90s. As far as they're concerned, the 70s and 80s, where all the genres we now have in modern gaming were invented, have either been forgotten or didn't exist. Most think Wolfenstein 3D and Duke Nukem 3D and Doom are classic games. And were the first 3D games that existed. What utter crap. 3D games were around on the Amiga C64 long before all this. And if there was a first 3D Doom-type game for my books, it would have to be Tunnels of Doom on the TI-99-4A. And that was in 1981. The kids today are raised on a diet of sequels and remakes. Just look at the music, TV, and movie industries. Today, there are a lot more songs from the 60s, 70s, and 80s being covered and jazzed up than ever before. Stacks of movies have been remade like Time Machine and Planet of the Apes. I really believe that there are not a lot of new ideas around anymore, and therefore a lack of originality and lots of copycat stuff is the result. I also blame today's heavy-handed advertising and commercialism aimed primarily at kids and teens, which makes them feel they must have the next newest ultra-cool game. I also believe that after 25 years of computer gaming, almost 50 years of rock and roll, and 60-plus years of TV and movies, that all forms of entertainment are now mature, so there are naturally going to be less highs than there used to be. Of course, the game companies and publishing houses could help things along if they had the guts to take a gamble on the rare, original game that the developer might show them. I believe there are some fantastic ideas still out there, and ultimately I blame companies only wanting to stick with a safe bet and the culture that kids and teens live in today, which results in low expectations of new things and high expectations of the same old, same old. Let's do it bigger and better, but still the same type thing. It could be said that today's kids and teens probably think a large proportion of music and computer games are new and original because they're too young to have heard of songs like Daydream Believer and games like Mario, etc. before. If the entertainment industry presents these things as new, most of them probably wouldn't know the difference. Unfortunately, we do, but there's not a lot we can do about it. I probably ran it on more than long enough, and I'm sorry if the result is a bit long-winded. I've thoroughly enjoyed some of the games I've played lately, namely Homeworld and older games like Wing Commander, and this is mainly due to the fact that these games suck me into a story being told as well as great gameplay. One type of game that will always be better with bigger graphics and CPU is racing games. The more realism, the better, which is why we'll buy Grand Prix 4 when it comes out. I don't, however, see the need for the endless sea of average arcade racers that seem to be always coming out, though. I also recently had a great time uploading games from my Amiga 500 to my PC with a special serial cable. Funny how 95% of my old floppies, some of which are now 13 years old, still work okay, and 1.44 meg PC floppy stuff up after about 3 uses. Isn't that funny? Anyway, thanks heaps for Retro Gaming Radio, and keep them coming. Classic gaming forever. Signed, Stephen P. Well, you know, this guy's pretty much on board with everything I've been telling you folks, so there's not much I can discuss about this letter. Suffice to say that, you know, a lot of people think that I'm the only one that believes this, or that for some reason, you know, that we're a unique breed, but they're all out there, folks. We get letters like this every single day of people saying, yeah. You know, we're on the right track, folks. Something I'd like to add to that, something I just read in my ultimate favorite gaming magazine. Was there enough sarcasm in there? Did that not come right over the MP3? Electronic Gaming Monthly which is a great target of our discontent because, well, let's put it this way, they piss us off on multiple levels. But in the last episode, the last issue of the magazine, they thought it'd be fun to poke fun at every Spider-Man game that came before the most recent one. And that's classic Electronic Gaming Monthly style. And more and more magazines and media, websites, whatever, are doing that. Some new game comes out and they start slapping down every game that it pays homage to. And above all that pisses me off. I guess I should be appreciative they even show a picture of Spider-Man for the 2600. But you know what? Spider-Man for the 2600 was one kick-ass game. I don't care what anybody says. Yeah, it might have been a little single-dimensional. But I dare anybody who thinks they're hot crap at Spider-Man on the PC or whatever the formats are that they're out on now to go back and play 2600 Spider-Man and see if you can make it to the top of the building. That crap ain't easy. And it was an innovative way of taking 180 by 160 resolution and putting Spider-Man on it. These games should be hailed as forerunners of today's games, not as not so great moments in Spider-Man history. What is it with you guys? People wonder why I have such a chip on my shoulder about modern games. Ask them why they have such a chip on their shoulder about classic games. It's crazy. Anyway, folks, let me do some announcements real quick before we move on to the Chrono Trigger Part 2, which I think it's even funnier than the first part. And you guys can skip the Chrono Trigger thing, but I think you're missing out on some rare funnies, man. I'll tell you what. When we got done recording that part of the show, we were just on the floor laughing. It was so funny. But some people just take things too seriously. Let's talk about Classic Gaming Expo. That's something that's near and dear to all of our hearts because, well, it's Classic Gaming Expo. For those of you who haven't been tuning in, that's cgexpo.com. In the first a couple weeks of August, the 10th and 11th, I believe, are the dates, in Las Vegas, Nevada, is the ultimate classic gaming geek conference there is. They have keynote speeches. They have dozens of free arcade machines scattered around set on free play, including lots of the rare Laserdisc games. They had a Paperboy last year. They have almost all the Williams games are always there. They have booths of people selling classic stuff. They have a swap meet. It's a fantastic thing. They have a museum of stuff that you only heard about and read about in magazines, but you've never had a chance to see, like rare imported handheld Pac-Man machines, Pac-Man handhelds. There's just tons of cool stuff at these shows. And Classic Gaming Expo has been going on for quite a while. They have contests, high score contests. They have marathons, decathlons. Last year they had this ancient pinball machine that you could play. It's just, trust me, if classic gaming at all gets you excited, then this is the show you've got to go to. We've been to E3 a couple of years, and I'll tell you what, we've decided that we're not going to ever go back to E3. Aside from the fact that it's all modern games, but you'd think that E3 would be something really cool to go to, but we're more excited about going to CGE this year than we've ever been about going to E3. And we're really excited. Why? Well, we have a booth for one thing. We've actually secured the booth. It's all taken care of. We should appear on their site when next time they update it to let you know that we're going to be there. We're going to have a listening booth with actually original episodes of Retro Gaming Radio in their video format. For those of you who don't own the CD-ROM, hint, hint, you can come to the show and sit down in front of a laptop and watch some of the old shows and see, what kind of format we did before we went to straight MP3. What's even more exciting is we are going to be affiliated this year with X-Arcade, that really cool controller that we reviewed a couple shows ago. And they are actually going to E3 this year, and they are so busy with E3 that we told them that we'd be willing to set up part of our booth and take one of their controllers, which we really like, folks. I mean, we're not looking for handouts or anything. We like the controller, and we feel that it would be a shame if classic gamers at CGE didn't get at least a chance to play with this thing. I mean, last year they had a controller there, but it wasn't hooked up to anything. There was nobody there handing out brochures. There wasn't anybody to answer questions. And you know how we are here on the show. If we find a product that we really, really like, we support it. And we talked to the X-Arcade folks and said, hey, how about we take a couple of units, we'll hand out literature. We're going to be sitting at the booth anyway. We played the controller a lot. We'll help you out. And they loved the idea, so we are going to represent X-Arcade at the Retro Gaming Radio booth. You had to come by. We're going to have Robotron set up. We're going to have some great double joystick games set up, some classic games, classic emulators set up. We're also going to be demoing the X-Arcade running on a Dreamcast. We actually got the Dreamcast adapters, and we're going to review that on next month's show. We're going to talk to you about the Dreamcast adapters, and then you'll be able to actually try it out. Playing a little Soul Calibur on the proper X-Arcade control, you're going to love it. So that's what's going on at CGE. Lots of exciting stuff. Going to be a really good time. I'm really hoping that a lot of people turn out and at least say hi. I'd like to have some faces behind the names, and we'd love to meet you guys. We're your fans. People say they're fans of the show. Well, we're fans of the show. Does that work out? Yeah, that works out. So please stop by the booth, say hi. We will have some Retro Gaming Radio CDs to sell, and we're probably going to give a couple away. Some sort of promotion. We haven't actually narrowed that down yet. We'll probably have a Robotron contest on the X-Arcade, and we'll see who walks away with a special goodie. Maybe we can even get X-Arcade to donate one, hopefully to the winner of the Robotron contest. So hopefully somebody will walk away with a free X-Arcade. Compliments of X-Arcade and Retro Gaming Radio. So that'd be a good thing. Well, folks, this month we're going to complete our look at Chrono Trigger for the Super Nintendo. Myself and Bryan Kidhype Smith, the producer, sat down and took a look at this title. And it's all in good fun, folks. If you take this stuff too seriously, then you're listening to the wrong show, folks, because we're kind of lighthearted around here, and we don't take ourselves or pretty much anything too seriously. So enjoy part 2 of a look at Chrono Trigger for the Super Nintendo.
It's time for a 16-bit flashback.
Man, I just did 34 hit points, and he's still coming. Oh, I got
10
I got
experience points.
10 experience points. I got one tech point.
Is that it?
Now he's going to come down and finish me. Finish him.
I lost, you won. Oh, he won. You won.
All right. I wish it could have been a little more ambiguous, though.
Yeah, like some damage kind of.
Yeah, or something to let me know that it. See, you just try to attack me again. What's in here? Oh, yeah, make a door that I can't go in. I hate that. Okay. Hey, let's bring Pikachu to that Al Jolson show. Come on. There we go.
Did you grab him?
No.
No time to talk.
Well, where is he at? He's supposed to be following me. Where'd he go? I scared
him. Dude,
I
think you grabbed him.
Did I?
I think so.
All right, well, let's go see if we can look at that scary show now. What? What do you want? Oh, I just gave her the pennant back. I don't know, should I give it back to her?
Give it back to her. Be the Mac.
You live in town. Oh, yeah, sure, you can walk around with me. I'm a true gentleman.
Pimp.
I'm Pimp Daddy. I'm going to go whore out to that robot back there. Another chance for me to change the names of the characters.
What's the purpose of changing the name?
I don't get that. That drives me crazy. Change the name of the NPCs. I'm sure that's a box bullet point on the back of the Chrono Trigger box.
Change the names as you play.
Make every experience unique.
Yeah.
Every game is totally unique if you change the name. Is it in here?
No, it wasn't in there.
No. All right, we're going to walk around some more. What's over? This wasn't it?
Nah, this is something different.
What the hell is this?
Okay, looks like
some show.
Joe and Mac.
Jurassic Rhythm. Where's the dinosaur to come down and stomp on me?
Dude, it looks like Joe and Mac.
It does look like Joe and Mac.
It does.
You're right.
Everybody's guest starring in this thing. Pikachu, Joe and Mac.
All right, where was that? Was it down below?
I think so.
All right, we're going to wander around here some more. Ah, there it is. Is that it? No? Where is it? Wasn't it over here? Ah, there it is. The scary skull tent. There's Al Jolson.
And now we got the
Mommy! Mommy! How much money silver you want to pay for this, Mommy? Oh, Mommy. All I can say is it better be worth it. I only got 10. I got 15.
Oh, this is what you get to see.
I'm going to get my ass kicked now.
Nah.
I'm Vix.
I'm Vaporub.
Wedge. Oh, there's from Star Wars. I'm Piet. Hey, that was Admiral Piet. Don't fail me again, Admiral.
Oh, did you pay attention, dude?
No, I wouldn't. Which one is he? So this one, isn't he?
No.
Oh, show's over. Get out.
Get out.
Get out.
Get out. Too bad we can't stay.
That's wrong. Okay, well, I didn't get to see the show.
This is like a 10 on the boring scale.
I was bored like when we started, but I'm trying.
Feel free to end this at any time.
Yeah,
I don't get it. We don't get it. We're
We
old.
don't get it. We must be old. There must be subliminals that don't work on old people in here. What's the big deal? Hey, it's asking what's the big deal. That's what we were wondering.
Okay, let's look at this from a technical point of view. Let's do like a little review.
Otherwise, we're not going to be able to say anything good about this.
Okay, this is the good thing I can say about it. Maybe, when is this? 1995.
This is 95.
No, you were able to talk to like everybody in adventure games in 1995.
Yeah, you were able to talk to other people in adventure games.
So this is nothing. This is more irritating than anything. I mean, you could do this crap in Zelda.
That's right. There's not a lot of new things here.
I don't see anything new. The graphics are great. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that these graphics suck. The graphics are nice. They're typical Super Nintendo graphics. The story,
lots of Mode 7.
Yeah. Lots of Twin B action.
Stop it.
Sheesh.
Lots of Twin B. Lots of button mashing, which is what I expected. Because that's what these adventure games are about, is button mashing.
Where is the intriguing storyline? All we do is keep bumping into people and
you have the time. You know what this is? These are like a bunch of mini games. At best. I mean, but they're not even real good mini games like Questron 2 had. All right, let's go for a little ride here. Oh, hey, look, we got fly pods. I'm going to become Brundle Shane.
Brundle Shane. Shane the Fly.
No one wants to try the telepad? I'll try the telepad. She's jumping up and down. Too bad she ain't got, like, a bigger chest. We could have gotten something interesting out of this.
She's a Shane chick.
She's a Shane chick. All right, let's hop onto the left pod here. Let me move. Okay, there we go. Brundle Shane, here we go.
Is the draw to the game is that you get to do a bunch of dumb stuff? I'm not getting it.
I'm missing the wonderful storyline here. This is typically what we call as filler. Well, that was fun. You know what? Now I understand why Shenmue's so popular. It's just like this. You wander around doing absolutely nothing worth a damn. And people like this.
We killed the dude. It served no purpose but to get some coins. We went to
We gave the girl the pendant back so that she'd come with us to watch the show that sucked.
Where is she now?
Well, she bailed. She didn't stay with us after the teleporter thing. I am definitely missing something on a big flick cycle here. Oh, there's Pikachu again. There we go. Now, get out of my way.
We just smacked this dude. Backhanded.
Come on, where are you going? Come on.
Can you go back home?
Dude, I'm at home now. I'm about ready to go home and do something different. Put my Dreamcast back in. At least I could play Crazy Taxi on that. All right, well, I can honestly say I'm pretty much bored out of my mind. Wood sword. All right.
That does absolutely nothing.
I got nothing. You know what? You guys who like this stuff, you guys need to play a real RPG like Legacy of the Ancients or something.
Well, I was just going to say, can you please write in and tell us what we're doing wrong? Because this is boring as hell.
Okay, we're going to wander around some more here. What's over here? Can we go in here?
Of course not. Oh, yeah.
Let's go in the boat. Can I get in the boat? No.
Oh,
The boat house. I'd like passage back to my Dreamcast, please. Sure. I'll get on board. I'll do anything to get out of here. I like the floating
Popeye
clouds.
The Sailor Man. Boop, boop. Alan. Is that you driving the boat?
No, I'm not driving the boat. This
is worse.
This is Disneyland boats. This is Disneyland boats. Can't you hear the chain racking on the bottom of the boat? All right. Can't believe I couldn't even control the boat.
That would have been cool.
That would have been cool. Okay, now I'm back at the boathouse, and I'm going to leave said boathouse.
No, you're in a new town now.
I'm in a new town. Can I go anywhere? Can I go in here?
Yeah, you can go in there.
I got an inn. I can get in bed. This is
Go
this is
to
Shenmue
sleep.
big time.
Go to sleep.
How about hibernate? What's this little book? Can't do anything on the book. 20G in advance.
Man, it's an expensive hotel.
Damn, where's the Motel 6? I can't afford that action. You know, I still haven't gotten to kick anybody's butt yet. Let's wander out into the middle of nowhere.
Well, you kicked.
Hey, there's some mountains. Let's walk up here. There's got to be a monster in here somewhere.
There's always monsters in mountains.
I thought the N64's sound was better than this.
This isn't the N64. It's just
Well, that's what I meant. SNES. I thought the sound was better. Oh, dude, I paid for that boat ride. I could have just walked across town to do it.
You am lame.
I am lame.
Go in the cave.
Let's go in the forest. Maybe I can get some fights in here.
I have to admit that the graphics are great, and that's what hypnotized you fools into playing this.
Good to go. But don't be telling me it's the greatest game of all time and there's nothing at all like this. And
There isn't. There's nothing this boring.
oh, man.
Read between the lines.
Hey, here comes something I can fight. What is that? That's a Pokemon ball.
That looks like a Pokemon dude.
I can't fight him. Oh, there we go. Oh,
it's
where'd the
some
spiders come from? Finally.
Okay, we're gonna fight some beetles.
Attack. This is not even close to real time. Well, that was easy.
Down. Oh.
Is this the advanced combat system that people were telling us about?
Yes, I think it is. You got 9 experience
I got
points.
3 tech points, and I got gold. Man, we just must be old. That's the only thing I can think
This
of.
thing is just dragging.
This is worse than watching Ally McBeal.
Oh, I don't think it's that bad.
I heard that got canceled. Thank God.
Yeah.
If only I could turn this game off. Yet I'm strangely allured to continue playing it. We need another 20 minutes of filler. All right, we're fighting another one. Now, what can I cast a spell or anything? Now, see, that would be cool.
Okay, somebody needs to explain to us where's the classic part of this game.
I'm missing it.
Is it classically boring? You supposed to kill that?
No,
It's
it's
a fairy.
dude. It's like I don't know. He's got a bell though. That's Jughead
He's Jughead.
with a crown. Why come I'm not killing him? He needs to attack me or something.
You're getting points.
Oh, there he
you
goes.
go.
Well, he's dead.
What was the purpose behind killing the dude with the bell?
Well, I got level up. I learned Cyclone. You mean I get a spell of some sort? All right, let's see. Now maybe the magic makes it worth it. I don't think so though. Come on, give me something else to fight. I want to see
Touch
this.
those thingies.
What? The mushrooms?
Yeah.
All right, something else for me to kill.
Oh
Heat
my
take.
God, this is boring.
If so, you know what? They're like mindless RPG fighting games. This is like the most ununique thing I've ever seen, and this wasn't the first.
Yeah,
Legendary. You know what we need to do? We need to find a shot of the back of the box that talks about how cool this game is, so we can tear apart the bullet points.
There's a site that does box scans. I can't think of the name of it. If anybody wants to email us and tell us what the site is for the box scans,
Yeah, let us have the box scan so we can try to figure out what's going on here. So I'm wandering around. Nope, that's the edge of the forest. I don't want to go back. I came here for a reason. To avenge the death of my father. Let me play with this kitten. All right, now here we go. There's some more mushroom things to fight. Meow, meow, meow. All right, there's one mushroom dead.
Ooh.
Oh, you know what? You have to be doing shrooms
to play this.
to play this game. You must be at least this high to play this game. All right, I'm going to fight this last mushroom. Maybe I should die. Maybe the death sequence is what's worth it. All right. Nope, okay, the mushrooms are all dead. I got a tonic. If I can only find a midget with some gin. All right, I'm through the forest.
Okay, we're done. Okay,
All right,
now you
let's go to the
into
castle.
Maybe we'll
Who's
learn
there?
something.
Can't let you through. Oh.
You just got arrested. Oh, you just got kicked
I
out.
got booted out of the castle. They won't let anybody in here. Can I go through the side of the forest? So much for non-linear gameplay. Okay. Well, so I went basically through the forest.
Now you gotta go back
nothing.
to the forest.
And the guy, the
And
monsters are
everything's
back.
Everything's back.
Gotta love that. At least in Quake, the bad guys aren't still there when you go back. What's this? An open field. Yeah, and what's in an open field? Bad guys.
No, open field.
What's this?
It's like a golf course.
Someone's gonna come and beat my ass. Sealed with a mysterious energy. Swear to God, this is English.
It's called the Art of Fart.
That's right. Okay, well, there's nothing to do in here. We're going to have to move along soon. I'm starting to drift off.
Oh, no, that's just me sleeping.
Doesn't this guy look like Derek Wildstar from
You can't avoid from fighting these guys.
I got to fight these guys again.
Oh, this is fun.
Not. This is how I rack up mega experience.
Right. You have to get the experience points so you can go and fight the big bad dude.
The big bad dude at the end, yeah.
See, we just don't understand that. That's what they'll tell us. We don't understand.
We don't understand. You guys are old.
We don't know how you did it in the old days, but
we know how we did it in the old days, and it was a lot more entertaining than this. All right, let's wander around.
This is why I do not like RPGs. And there's the bell dude.
There's the bell dude again. We're just going to avoid him and leave. There's more mushroom guys. We're going to avoid them. Hey, that's why it's non-linear. I could avoid him.
Okay, you're out of the forest.
All right, you know what? I think we're about done here.
We gave it a chance. We gave it an honest chance.
We sat here for 20 minutes playing this. That's the inn that I couldn't afford. Snail shop. Let's go buy some snails. What's that big chicken thing over there?
That's that thing that was in the forest, wasn't it?
Was it?
Yeah.
I'm going to go mess with it. Ah, I'm the piano man. Dude, what's he in the chicken? I'm the piano man. Play a sad one, Joe. Let's play something sad like this game.
Yeah. This is the Chrono Trigger theme.
All right. This thing over here tastes like chicken.
You never had escargot?
What's that?
You never had escargot?
No.
It's
Does
good.
it taste like chicken?
No, it didn't taste like chicken. It tastes like snails.
Oh, joy. Even better.
You soak it in butter and garlic sauce.
Welcome to Shane and Cooking with Shane and Bryan.
You know, you make us play this game, we're going to go off subject. Just to entertain ourselves.
We have to find something to do.
We're back on the boat. Oh, you got to go buy a ticket. Going to ride the boat, you got to have
the boat
ticket.
No ticket. Sure, I'll waste my cash and go back to the same town I was just at, please.
Here we go.
Whee! Doot, doot. Next stop, my thighs. Wow.
You know what? If I ever rode a boat with sharp turns like that, I think I'd fall off.
I'm about ready to puke now. Except for I don't think it's the boat ride.
Oh. Owned.
This is the Super Nintendo Special Edition.
Okay, you're back where you started.
I'm right back where I started from.
How come you just didn't walk?
All right, folks, you know what? I can't do it anymore. Game has been aborted.
All that I can stand, you can't stand.
I can't stand no more. All right, well, folks,
we did.
That's going to wrap up our so review of Chrono Trigger. Bryan, would you like to give any final statements to to this game?
Kicking all y'all asses who email me and tell me that this game is shit. I swear to God, I'm gonna kill you guys. Okay, now the real review. Okay,
now the real review.
Graphics were nice. Thank you.
Wow.
I don't.
That was personal ownage from Bryan.
Seriously though, it's not really fair to ask me. I don't like RPGs, so you don't get somebody who doesn't like a genre to review something they don't like. So, but honestly, I don't get it. But I don't get Final Fantasy, to draw the Final Fantasy either.
No. And it's the same exact thing.
It's by the same company.
It's by the same company. It's like they take the same game. that worked once, and they just keep making new and more sequels.
Okay, my question is to all you Chrono Trigger freaks: how come there's no Chrono Trigger 10? Even Square knew it sucked.
Damn.
It's not on the PlayStation. It's not on the N64. It's not on the GameCube. Unless somebody's going to email us and say they have announced it's going to be for the GameCube or
Final
Xbox.
Fantasy is going to be out for the GameCube.
What? Well,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they won the bid. That's what it's about anymore, folks. It's not about making good games. It's a matter of whose console you're going to make it for, who gets the exclusive rights, blah, blah, blah. It's all politics now. And you wonder why we don't like modern games.
So
Let me give you my review of Chrono Trigger.
Oh.
As the person who was playing it. I'll agree with Bryan. The graphics were kind of nice. It was a fresh kind of look for using Mode 7 style zoom effects, which I never really thought was all that impressive anyway, but at least they did some clever usages of it. Graphics were good. The sound was mediocre, but it worked. I thought the music was nothing to write home about. Pretty much I could have played it with the sound off and got the same experience, so that's not a good thing. There wasn't a good use of sound, but again, it was there and it sufficed. The walking around motif, you can say that's non-linear all you want, but we all know that sort of game is always linear. Basically, there's a series of quests you have to complete to open this area. It goes back to Quake play. You run around, find a key, open a door, go through that door, find another key to open the next door. Sometimes you find the keys out of order, so then you got to use the out of order key to get to the first key, to get to the last key, to get to the door. It's all the same bit, but they just wrap it into an RPG package. Now, as an RPG goes, first of all, if you're going to give me a real-time option, the crap should be in real time. We're talking Diablo 2 style, for those of you who don't understand what I'm talking about. Not just enemies fight you when you're not doing anything. Everything should be in real time if you're going to give me a real-time battle mode. In turn-based battle mode, that's just boring as hell. That's like, what was that came out for the Dreamcast? Grandia? What was that one that started you off on the ship?
Skies of Arcadia?
That was it, Skies of Arcadia.
Good
Same
Lord,
thing. You know what? That's
is.
exactly what I thought of. The same thing when I saw this. Somebody invented this genre, and I can tell you what, either you love this genre or you hate it. And I'll tell you what, I hate it. I don't like this console push-button RPG. So I guess it wasn't fair of us to give a review. But since all of you kept whining at us to look at it and to say it was such a great game, I'm sorry. There's nothing spectacular about this title. And if that means your credibility is completely screwed, we don't even need to look at Mega Man and Castlevania and what was the other one?
Castlevania and Mega Man are pretty good if you're into like platformers.
I'm more into platformers than I am.
You'd like Mega Man.
I probably would like Mega Man.
You like Castlevania too.
I played Castlevania.
You didn't like it?
I don't get it.
I love that game.
I don't know.
I don't really like the sequels too much. I think I stopped at like 2.
Yeah.
3 and 4 got kind of silly. And then they tried to make it RPG-ish on the PlayStation.
Right.
Was that Castlevania Chronicles or something?
Something like that, yeah.
I didn't like that. When I play a game, I play a game. I don't watch a movie. If I want to watch a movie, I watch a movie.
And there's something we need to clear up here. A lot of you write to me and say that, I'm bashing Chrono Trigger because all it is an interactive movie, and that's all it is, folks. It's an interactive movie at best. There wasn't anything unique about what I was doing there. A lot of you say, oh, well, you bash Chrono Trigger, man, but you like Space Ace and Dragon's Lair, man. That's like the most linear gameplay on the planet, man. You know what? I never said it wasn't linear gameplay. I've never called Dragon's Lair and Space Ace a video game. It is an interactive movie. And as such, an interactive movie is a movie first that has some elements of interactivity. People ask me why I don't get excited over, like, Cliffhanger and Astron's Belt and all those other Laserdisc games that are being included in Daphne now. It's because I don't care. The only thing that I care about in terms of Laserdisc games is Don Bluth animation and the Don Bluth storyline, the Don Bluth style. That's why I like Dragon's Lair. That's why I like Space Ace. It has nothing to do with the fact that they're great video games. They're not. They're good interactive movies. You know what? Half the time when I want to experience Dragon's Lair or Space Ace, I'll throw the DVD in and put it in watch mode because the gameplay isn't really what's important. What's important is the style, the panache, and what Don Bluth has put together, and the storyline. But I guarantee that none of you people would like to sit there and watch Chrono Trigger being played by itself all the way through. Although I would rather do that than sit here and waste my time messing with Pikachu and opening and closing the windows. But that's just me. Probably why Shenmue wasn't all that attractive to me either. I tried playing that. You know, nothing more urgent than a quest that can't wait for you to play with a cup. But that's just me. So anyway, folks, you've gotten your 39 minutes of Super Nintendo lookage.
We gave it a chance. You cannot say we're not fair. We gave it a chance.
We gave it a look over.
You heard us play it. It wasn't. I mean, come on. If there was an ooh and an ah,
we'd have done it.
We would have done it. We didn't just go into this thing going, okay, we hate it. No,
well, yeah, we did hate it, but
we kind of did.
we kind of did just because you guys can't talk about anything else. I mean, there were some good treasures on SNES, and you guys don't ever mention that stuff.
Like I said, you guys sat there and said, "Come on, Super Punch-Out's a classic." I would have sat there and gone, "No," but at least I would have been like, "Okay, you're right. There were some good games for the Super Nintendo." Chrono Trigger is not a good spokesperson for good games.
Yeah, that's not something you'd want to have on your SNES commercials.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless you're, well, never mind. I won't get into the fact that Squaresoft put all full motion intros and videos into their Final Fantasy X commercials. Nothing more enlightening than a commercial that won't bother to show you the gameplay. That should set you hip to something. That's like having a car commercial and never showing you the car. Here's the picture of the car, not the car driving. Not the off-road performance test. Here's just a picture of the car. Okay. Well, anyway. It's enough having fun with that. But anyway, folks. Now you understand why I get a bad taste in my mouth over Super Nintendo. Because anytime somebody has to write and talk about it, it's always this game. And, folks, I've looked at the game. I can't get excited about it. I'm serious. If you guys want to try something with a little bit of depth, a little bit of style, Legacy of the Ancients, there's a review of it on the show. I can't remember the date. I don't want to look it up right now. But if you look at the flashback drop down on the Retro Gaming Radio Archives page, you will find Legacy of the Ancients. You check that out. There's something that's rewarding. It's sort of like this, only it doesn't bore the crap out of you.
Just a quick update on the Act Labs light gun. We still do not have one to look at yet. We don't have any new information about it. Some people have written asking about it, and we don't have any new information at this time. One of our listeners did write in and want us to remind you responsibly that this gun will probably not work on MAME cabinets that are based on DOS MAME, because apparently the gun will probably only work in Windows. So if you're holding out waiting for a DOS MAME arcade cabinet gun, this may not end up being your solution. But we're going to have as much information as possible, folks. We're only working on what they've sent us. So once we get more information, of course we'll relay that to you as soon as possible. Hopefully we'll have something for next show.
Bryan Kid Hype Smith, our producer, recently flew down here for us to cut some show elements, just sit around and play classic video games all weekend long and then some. And he decided he wanted to share with you, our listeners, a segment about his trip down here. It seems that a lot of our fans like to hear stories from the old days about when we were growing up and what we did as kids and breaking Pac-Man glasses to get free credits and that sort of thing. So Bryan thought that this segment would be of interest to our listeners. And I couldn't agree more. Bryan, take it away.
See, what else do we need to talk about, Bryan?
I was going to talk about my visit here, since it was very video game oriented. It's been pretty cool so far being down here. So I guess I'm doing that right now. It's kind of funny. When you hook up with somebody who is into playing video games as much as you are, I guess it shouldn't be a big surprise that the first thing you do when you get off the airplane is go to an arcade. We went over to Castle and Coasters in beautiful, is it Phoenix? Phoenix, Arizona. Does Castle, they have a website, don't they? They have a website, but they don't show you jack. But it's a really nice, it's very old school in the way it's set up as far as an arcade is concerned. It's, all the pinball machines, which was really nice, were on the bottom floor in a circle. Any pinball machine from 1990 on up, even the Pinball 2K stuff was there at the arcade. since I own an Addams Family at home, you can imagine we spent the first hour playing Addams Family because we kept getting free credits.
It's important to note that Bryan had a lot of trouble playing the Addams Family.
Kiss my ass.
Well, no, it's interesting that you can have the exact same machine at home.
Yeah, it
and
is.
then go somewhere and have a completely different experience.
It is. I was making shots with the right flipper, which I cannot do at home, up the bear kick ramp. I almost toured the mansion. I was only one room away from touring the mansion. And I'm not used to playing pinball machines in the dark. For some crazy reason, every Addams Family I've ever played has been in the freaking dark, except for my own. There's one at a local sports bar in Reno, Nevada, called Sparky's. It's in the dark. So there's some kind of fascination with arcade owners who like to throw Addams Family in the dark and make you play it. But nevertheless, we did have a blast playing that. I played arm wrestling next. Yes, this arcade has a Nintendo arm wrestling game. This game, I don't know if anybody who's listened to the show knows how rare it is to find a Nintendo arm wrestling game. This is the third time in, I guess the game's about 20 years old?
Something like that, yeah.
Close to 86, right?
I think so. We'd have
about
to look
15
it up.
years. Third time in 15 years I've ever seen a full-size arm wrestling cabinet. The other time I saw it was in California at a place called, it was in Westwood, California. It was an arcade that was a test site for a lot of pinball machines. Sheesh, I wish I could remember the name of it. It doesn't exist anymore.
So remembering the name would pretty much be pointless.
Yeah. The second place I saw it was Disneyland. Did you see it at Disneyland? Did you tell me you saw it at Disneyland too?
No, I saw the Speed Racer at Disneyland.
You saw you never saw arm wrestling?
No, I
They
didn't.
had it there for years. I think they
Really?
got rid of it like 1990.
You got to understand how Castle and Coasters is set up. I'm sure I've talked about it on the show, but basically Castle and Coasters has two floors. The bottom floor, and it's kind of got a pit. And the pit is where all the pinball machines are. A lot of the modern games are down there. Then they have a sort of a middle level where you can find the game I used to play when I was little, Simon, called Dance Dance Revolution. And you can find that on the middle level. And a lot of the newer, they had a bunch of the newer VR games like Beachhead 2000 in a VR cab and some boxing game. Do you remember that boxing game?
Yeah, the way you put the gloves on.
Yeah, you put the gloves on and start whooping ass.
It's a Konami game. Looks like it's built on the
Police trainer
police
hardware.
the 911 hardware because it uses the sensors and stuff.
Yeah.
And this is boxing.
It was boxing. Anyway, then you go upstairs, and there's a lot of little carnival-type games for kids, the Chuck E. Cheese games, Spider Stomp, and crap like that. But also, most of the upper level is filled with all the classics. Now, let's see if we can name as many classics as we can from up there. There was Dragon's Lair 2.
A Robotron that didn't work.
The Robotron that didn't work. There was a Defender and a Stargate.
A Stargate that said Stargate, not that Defender 2 crap.
Yep. Tempest that was down. 1942. Was it Ghosts and Goblins or Ghouls and Ghosts? Let's see what else was there up there.
The arm wrestling.
Arm wrestling. There was Versus Duck Hunt. I think there was a Hogan's Alley up there.
Yeah, there was a Hogan's Alley.
Man, there was Mortal Kombat, Smash TV.
Yeah, there was the Smash
Revolution
TV.
X. There was a Donkey Kong up there too. Someone was playing that. Let's see what else was there up there. There was a Joust, I thought, wasn't there? We didn't play Joust, though. No Joust?
I don't remember seeing the Joust.
There was a whole bunch of stuff anyway. But anyway, that's where all the classics were upstairs. And after the pinball, that's kind of where we went. And downstairs had all those new classic cabs, those big, giant, 21-inch screens for Pac-Man and Ms. Pac-Man. You know what I find amazing? I have yet to go to Castle and Coasters, day, night, evening, weekends, holidays, weekdays, where somebody's not plastered on the Ms. Pac-Man machine. There was always somebody playing Ms. Pac-Man. Interesting side story.
People always play Galaga.
Yeah, there's a big Galaga machine there too, but it wasn't being played either.
But that's just the norm.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I know when people used to ask, when I used to tell people about MAME, that's the only two games they want to play.
Yeah.
Can you play Ms. Pac-Man? Can you play Galaga?
That's it. Send it.
2,000 ROMs. That's all they want.
Yeah, 2,000. That's pretty much all I want too. I only got 100 ROMs for MAME. That's all I care about. Zookeeper. I'd love to find an original Zookeeper machine.
Only time I ever saw a Zookeeper machine was at a Raging Waters in San Dimas, California.
Yep, I only saw one too. It was on some bus station. I had a layover changing buses. at like 2 hours, and I played Zookeeper the whole time. Never saw it again.
Okay, here's something for you people out there. Write and tell us where you've seen video, like your favorite video game. Where is the first place you've ever seen it? And how many times have you seen it? Please don't tell us about Ms. Pac-Man and Galaga. They're everywhere. Like for me, Cloak and Dagger is one of my favorite games. I've only seen it at one place, which was this test site. Like I told you, that was on the west side, in Westwood, California. Westwood is about 6 or 7 miles west of L.A. It's between L.A. and basically Santa Monica. That's where UCLA is, basically. There is another arcade called Westworld. That's the first place I've ever played Gradius. First time I've ever seen a versus system game. That place don't count, but that was a test center too. That was the only place I saw a Street Fighter with the big buttons. That big punch button that people talk about. I don't know if you've ever seen.
No, I haven't seen that.
Original Street Fighter. Big, humongo. You hit it, and however hard you hit it was how you got the special move out.
Wow. No, I've never seen that.
So, a lot of people, I think I've talked to a couple of people who have said they've seen that. But this other place, sheesh, how come I can't remember the name of that arcade?
Is it still there, Brian?
I know it's not there anymore. Then there's Pac-Man Arcade in Pasadena, California, and I've plugged this arcade since I've been online back in, when I first came and started posting on, old Dave Classics website, telling everybody if you're really into classic video games, this is the arcade to go to. Shane went to it last year when we went down for E3.
Didn't you say there was like half the stuff was missing from it or
Half the
something?
stuff is missing now, but that arcade's really weird. Sometimes they open up the full thing, but the time that we went, they closed off the last third of it. It basically takes up that full block.
Right.
And they sometimes they open up the whole thing, then all of a sudden the owner goes psycho and he shuts off like the third, or he's expanding it, or he's putting different machines in it. It's the dirtiest, dungiest arcade you'll ever see on the planet.
Yeah, I wish I had brought a 9 with me when I went.
Because it's in Pasadena. It's by Pasadena City College. It's on Colorado Boulevard, Colorado and Lake.
They had a crappy South Park pinball there, didn't they? Didn't work worth a damn.
They don't take care of the pins anymore. The Kenny was busted on the South Park. The Star Wars Episode 1 was working really good.
That one was working good.
But the original Star Wars pinball wasn't.
Right. Which is a good pin, by the way.
They're both excellent pins.
Shoot the Death Star!
Being at Shane's is pretty cool because you get to, he's basically he's the essence of what I say classic gaming. I own half of his systems now. The other half are still here. I was very amazed by the Amiga CD32. That, I've been playing Deluxe Galaga going on 8 hours now. 4 hours. We played a good 4 hours.
Yeah, we played like 4 hours last night.
And we played 4 hours Sunday night. It's Monday. What did kind of irk me was Chaos Engine. Note to Midway, if you're going to steal an idea, give it a little bit of credit, okay? It's bad enough Sega stole Space Taxi, but Gauntlet Legends is nothing but Chaos Engine, okay? Don't think we're fooled.
We're not fooled.
We're not fooled.
Bitmap Brothers had that crap long before you did.
I hope you paid them. If not, Bitmap Brothers, write some emails.
Write some emails. Get an attorney.
All I know is within 5 minutes of playing Chaos Engine, I was like, this is Gauntlet Legends. And I don't know how that, I'm surprised Shane has never mentioned that. But.
Yeah, I didn't really make that connection. Sometimes, because I was playing Chaos Engine long before I ever played Gauntlet Legends.
Chaos Engine came out in like 1991?
Something like that, 93.
93?
Even so, it definitely...
About a good 7 years before Gauntlet Legends.
Yeah. Of course, no one at was it Atari? No one at Atari would have ever said that they played Chaos Engine.
No, that was Midway.
Midway did that one too?
Midway did Gauntlet Legends.
Oh, well, there you go.
Atari did the Gauntlet 1 and 2.
Oh, well, shows what I know.
Well, you thought it was more like Atari Warriors.
Well, dude, you can't explain that. If you don't, I didn't have a frame of reference to explain what Chaos Engine was like.
It's just at Gauntlet Legends.
It didn't occur to me.
It even kind of trying to be the 3D kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like Gauntlet Legends.
Did. That's a good point.
So, any of you guys who play, does it run on UAE?
It does, but you've got to size the window so you don't see the left-hand side of the screen, because it's like Super Frog in the fact that if the screen's not exactly sized to house the graphics, they did some sort of trick to make the scrolling smooth, and it ends up making this weird blocky repetition thing on the left if you don't keep it crunched down. It's tight, but I think the Akiko emulator plays it.
Try Chaos Engine if you like Gauntlet Legends. You won't be disappointed. You have better character selection than Gauntlet Legends. It's a good game.
It's a good game.
I liked it. It pissed me off, so we went back and played Deluxe Galaga some more.
Yeah, as soon as Bryan was getting his ass kicked, we were back playing DG again.
Deluxe Galaga, if you're a Galaga whore, I'm sorry. If you do not like Deluxe Galaga, you're on crack. This game is freaking amazing. I first played it on, was it UAE that you gave?
I think it was Fellow that gave it, because I was the only one that played it for a long time.
You can't play this in the emulator. I'm sorry. It plays good. Believe it or not, it plays great in the emulator too. But it's nothing like playing it on a Wiga.
Yeah, we had the CD32 dragged out to the living room. We had it up on the 36-inch wagon. Let me tell you, there's a different sort of thing when you see Deluxe
great. Galaga.
Now, understand, too, that there were two versions of Deluxe Galaga. Now that we're on the Deluxe Galaga thing, I'm pretty sure I did a review. If not, you can go to deluxegalaga.monroeworld.com. We'll have a link for you at the bottom of the page, as per always, and find out more about this game. It hasn't been up-to-dated for a while, but, there's really nothing to report on it. You can get the images and try it for yourself. There were two versions of Deluxe Galaga, two main versions. There was an ECS or original version of Deluxe Galaga. Then there came an AGA or enhanced graphics version of Deluxe Galaga. That's what we were playing. Basically, what was really nice about it is he didn't play the standard video game mode where I want you to play the best version possible, so minimum requirements are this, maximum, recommended requirements are this. If you had better hardware, he would give you more goodies. If you had a 68020 processor, he would give you bigger explosions. If you had extra RAM, you would get speech. It was basically something transparent to the user, but something you're going, wow, I don't remember Deluxe Galaga looking like this, because you're playing it on a CD32 instead of on your Amiga 500. So it was nice that he went through the effort of making something that was enhanced but not forcing you to do it and giving you a quality game even without it. That's something Bryan made an interesting point. When he plays a lot of the games that I write, that like VS Ball and a lot of the things that I write, he says, I see Deluxe Galaga like in everything that you write.
It is. If you want to know, even the little challenging stages and stuff like that for Deluxe Galaga are basically Shane Monroe Productions now. I mean, he's borrowed a lot from Deluxe Galaga. And when you play Deluxe Galaga, you kind of understand. I mean, but like I said, I'm a Galaga whore. I'll play anything that says Galaga. I even play that crappy Destination Earth. I didn't like it. Hey, so get off me. I didn't like that, but I did.
Dude, I don't think anybody liked Destination Earth.
But which lends us to going over Bryan's house. I skipped ahead.
Now, Bryan King,
the Kart Commander guy, also has his arcade restoration area on the site where he's restored. He just restores video games, and if these things are perfect. We went over there last night for about 2 to 3 hours.
Yep.
And we're playing Robotron on the Twin Galaxy settings, and I was shocked I could get past level 5 because I really suck at Robotron, even though it's one of my favorite games. And stop clowning me on my Robotron Family reference.
Robotron Family. Any game that has 2 joysticks is Robotron Family.
It's not, because Black Widow is not part of the Robotron Family, and neither is Cloak and Dagger.
No, okay, Cloak and Dagger's. Well, no, I'd say Cloak and Dagger before I'd say Black Widow. But see, I'm like the only one on the planet, I think, other than you that likes Black Widow, so.
Really? You think so?
I swear, no one I know likes Black Widow other than you.
It's a hard game.
I like Black Widow, though.
I love Black Widow.
Badass. It's like Tempest Robotron.
Yeah.
It's great. I love it.
But Bryan has the Namco Classics, and
Volumes 1 and 2.
1 and 2, and we were able to play Galaga Arrangement, and that's pretty nice. I played it before. I didn't remember how hard that damn thing was.
Here's something to remember, folks. If you want to see how you take a classic game and remake it, you look close at Namco's Galaga Arranged.
Yeah, don't look at their map because it's horrible.
Basically, the concept here is like we've always been saying on this show from day one. Take a classic game, update the graphics, update the sound, give it a makeover, and leave the damn gameplay the way it is. There's a reason why it's a classic, and the reason it was a classic is not because it had great graphics. It did not have great sound. It was because the damn thing was fun to play. And as soon as you go monkeying with the damn gameplay, you ruin it. Now, Galaga Arrangement is perfect. It's just perfect. I mean, it's even better than Galaga 88, I think. And I like Galaga 88.
You're pushing it.
Well, Galaga 88 was it before Arrangement.
You know what? I say Galaga Arrangement is a worthy sequel to Galaga 88.
Yeah, I'd go for that.
It's about the same line.
I like Galaga 88 a lot.
I love Galaga 88.
That's another example of a perfect sequel. Doesn't happen very often.
It's not a classic, though.
Not a classic. Galaga's a classic.
Galaga's a classic.
And you can't call Galaga and Galaxian the same thing. That's an easy thing to do, but it's not.
It's a sequel, but come on. Galaxian Blue. I never played Galaxian.
I don't think that there's too much difference between Galaxian and Galaga. I mean, yes, they both have flying down descending ships, but being able to have your ship captured, getting the double firepower, it's something
challenging
that puts
stages, the diversity in the game.
Yeah, there's a difference.
It's not the same thing over and over and over again like Galaxian. And I'm sorry, the thing that really turned me off from Galaxian was the slow shooting.
Very slow shooting. One shot on the screen at a time, right?
The only one shot on the screen? Yeah, I was going to say that.
Because the little dot on the front of your ship, when you shoot, it would fly up, and you didn't get that dot back. You could shoot again.
Right.
Until the shot was destroyed.
Galaxian was getting Gorf, though.
Yeah, Galaxian was good in Gorf. They did it right there.
Yeah, that's the right way to do it.
And Bryan has almost all the Williams games. He doesn't have bubbles, which is too bad, because as bad as a rap...
You know what? That's what kind of puzzled me, because the way he has his stuff set up is like Defender, Stargate, Robotron, and you're just like, okay, bubbles?
A joust? Yeah, he's got a joust. He's working on restoring the joust.
Restoring the joust. I can't wait to see when he does the Pingo. I didn't know he had the Pingo.
Oh, man, I love Pingo.
He also had a Miss Pac-Man, a Gyrus with a questionable firing button.
Yeah, we were all dinking on his controls, which wasn't any fair, but...
And he had a Donkey Kong Jr., the first Donkey Kong Jr. I've ever seen with a track mode with the sound on. I meant to tell him that last night.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I've never seen that. What were we talking about? Oh, I do remember the name of the arcade, Captain Videos. It was Pico Boulevard and Westwood Boulevard in Westwood, California. And if you look be honest with you, it might be in the Twin Galaxy stuff, because Walter Day did visit Captain Video several times in the 80s for world records. So if you see Captain Videos, that's the arcade I used to go to growing up. I used to ride my bike about 5 miles to go to this arcade to play Paperboy, Cloak and Dagger, Arm Wrestling, Super Punch-Out. First time I saw a high-speed pinball machine was there in 1985. I basically lived in that place. They knew who I was. I'm surprised they didn't get me a cot just so I could sleep there at night and stuff. Too bad it's not there anymore. It was small, too, considering the size of arcades back then. That was probably the smallest arcade in the LA area. Another good arcade was in Koreatown, Vermont, and Vermont, I guess, above Santa Monica Boulevard. I guess that wouldn't be Koreatown. Nah, that's not Koreatown. I'm sorry. That's just Hollywood, I guess. More like LA.
Nobody cares.
Every freaking bootleg that's in MAME, I'm so shocked. I'm very shocked to see that's in MAME, was in this arcade when I grew up. Just
Pac-Man running on scramble hardware.
Yeah. Fire Trap. That's the only place I've ever seen a bootleg Fire Trap.
I don't think I've ever seen a Fire Trap. I've seen one Fire Trap, but I bet it was a boot.
Guzzler. Saw Guzzler there for the first time.
That's cool.
I know, yeah, you guys are going, what's the freaking point? I'm just giving you some history.
Yeah, a lot of you guys write in and say you like when we talk about historical stuff and things that we grew up with, so we're trying to share a little bit.
Even though it's boring the crap out of Shane.
I'm over here sleeping.
Yeah,
I had to work this weekend, so.
He's heard this crap before. But we were talking about Bryan's Arcade.
Anyway, so back to Bryan's Arcade.
But overall, it was fun. The cabinets are in excellent condition that he has in his arcade. He's in the process, like I said, of restoring a Pac-Man, a Pingo, a Joust, a Donkey Kong. What was the other machine?
Another Robotron.
Another Robotron. And
anyway, I think his site's arcaderestoration.com. He has tips and tricks on how to rebuild stuff. He also made his own. I think he made his own Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr. backup for high scores.
Yes, he did.
That's kind of cool. Anyway, Bryan's one of those cool guys that sort of epitomizes what a video game collector is, and somebody who really takes care of his stuff, and he's always proud to show off his goodies. And even though Defender, Stargate, and Make-Trax weren't working.
Make-Trax was working.
Yeah, it's kind of working. I guess there were some problems, though.
But these machines are over 20 years old. What do you expect?
That's true. What do you expect?
But basically that's been like basically the majority of my trip and doing the show.
We have here in the studio Ron Corcoran, longtime supporter of Twin Galaxies. For those of you who are not familiar with Twin Galaxies, please go to twingalaxies.com and check them out. These guys have been recording high scores officially in print for as long as I can remember. They have been diligent not only in recording classic games but also modern games as well. As far as I know, they're even tracking Xbox and all sorts of other modern consoles. These guys have been around for a long time. Walter Day has been in charge of this program since the beginning of time, and Ron Corcoran has been his pretty much right-hand guy. Now, Ron Corcoran runs Snipercade.com, who every month runs game challenges. They run a decathlon once a year. They give away cash prizes. It's all very exciting, and any classic gamer that really likes to get in with the emulators or play real consoles like the 2600 or in television or whatever, you really ought to wander over to Snipercade.com and check out Ron's site. He's got lots of goodies there, tons of information. And like I said, he's always running something. Anyway, we brought Ron into the studio to talk about not only his site, but what he's doing for Twin Galaxies. So I'm going to bring Ron on in.
Hi, folks. We're here with Ron Corcoran. He is the cheerleader of Twin Galaxies, also an official Atari editor for Twin Galaxies. He runs a lot of decathlons and game contests and whatnot on his site, Snipercade.com. I'm sure you've heard me talk about it in previous episodes. We have Ron in the studio, which is the grandiose living room, and we're going to let him have a chance to talk about what some of the goodies he's got planned for CGE, because they do run a lot of competitions there for Twin Galaxies. So, Ron, why don't you give people a little background about yourself and about Snipercade, first of all, and talk about some of the services you offer at Snipercade.
Well, most of my bio can be seen on the Dark Unicorn Productions website. Plug.
Good one.
Started off in 1978 doing Z80 and 6502 assembly programming, and have just pretty much lived my life in the computer world when I wasn't in the Army. Snipercade's been around just over 4 years now. We started it off as a MAME high score site for Twin Galaxies, and then Mark Longridge took over as the official editor for MAME. So I shifted the focus to Atari, Intellivision, ColecoVision, Commodore, just about all the other platforms and either computers or gaming consoles for Twin Galaxies. A couple years ago, you took over Commodore, and Steve Knox took over Coleco. So I've maintained Intellivision and Atari platforms for Twin Galaxies.
Okay, well, why don't you let people know what's going on? I know they've heard in the last episode, or the episode before then, that you're giving away a complete Atom computer system for Twin Galaxies contest. Why don't you tell folks about that?
Right, that was actually last episode, which I enjoyed very much.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, this year at the Classic Gaming Expo in Las Vegas, I believe the CGExpo.com site says August 10th and 11th, we are going to run a dual decathlon as we did last year. It will be 5 Atari games and 5 ColecoVision games, and the overall winner this year will get a complete Coleco Atom computer that I'm donating. It has the base unit with the dual cassette tape drives. It has a floppy diskette drive. It has some software, controllers, no monitor, no printer, but there is a modified power supply because on the Coleco Atom, the power supply was the printer. So that's what we're doing this year. We'll probably have other prizes that we're going to give away. As a matter of fact, I know Todd Rogers is going to run some Atari 2600 racing game competitions, and he will be giving away some memorabilia from back in his days when he was the national spokesman for Activision.
And we will be having Mr. Todd Rogers on the show in a future episode because he's got so many stories. We could probably fill an entire hour with just some of his regaling of Activision excitement. So we'll definitely have him on the show. Now, you do run contests, Ron, on Snipercade as well, not for any sort of prizes necessarily, but sometimes you post a prize or two. Tell folks about how they can get involved with game competitions on Snipercade.
Okay. Well, we do run an annual MAME decathlon, which it's in its 4th year. And what it is principally is you, the gamer, select 10 of your favorite games. We tally all the votes, and we choose the top 10 most voted for games. You then compete over a 6-month period, and the overall winner will get the prize. Typically, we try to have prizes for the top 3 finishers. This year, we're giving away a Hanaho Hot Rod. They've been gracious enough to donate one, so that's what we're giving away to the grand prize winner. We don't have a second or third place prize yet, but it will probably be something monetary or certificates or what have you from Twin Galaxies. All entrants who complete the decathlon and qualify will be in the next book of world records that Twin Galaxies publishes. Supposed to be yearly, but it looks like it's going to be later this year, and we actually skipped a year, unfortunately.
You also run a monthly type game, don't you?
Yes, we have monthly challenges on MAME as well as the Classic Consoles. This month's Classic Console Challenge is the Commodore 64 title, or Load Runner on the Commodore 64.
Yeah!
We've suspended the MAME challenges because of the decathlon. We want people to be able to focus on the decathlon and not be, distracted by other competitions that we have going on.
Okay, well, very good. Is there anything else about Twin Galaxies or anything like that you'd like to plug along with the CG stuff?
Sure. The Fun Spot tournament is coming up soon. You need to go to twingalaxies.com if you want to check that out. It is the World Championships for coin-op video games. It's held at the Fun Spot in Weirs Beach, New Hampshire, and all of the big names will be there. The Billy Mitchells, Chris Ayres, Robert Merzaks, Darren Harris, that's just to name a few. Dwayne Richard will be there. You met him last year at CGE.
Right.
So all the big name players in the coin-op, classic coin-op world will be there, and they're going to be competing on 7 titles that we editors at Twin Galaxies are putting together to see who will be this year's world champion. Also, we're going to run the Mall of America event again this year in Minneapolis, Minnesota, at the Mall of America. That is more of a modern console and modern coin-op tournament, and they do offer cash prizes and other prizes and such. Robert Merzak and I will be officiating, and Walter will, of course, be running the show.
Well, very cool, Ron. Thanks for dropping by the studios and giving us a little update on what's going on with Twin Galaxies. And I'm sure everyone will be looking forward to competing at the Twin Galaxies competitions at Classic Gaming Expo this year. And for those of you who want to check out more about Twin Galaxies and, of course, Ron Corcoran's cool site Snipercade, the links will be available. They're twingalaxies.com and snipercade.com.
Thank you, Shane.
Always a pleasure, always a pleasure. We hope you'll be able to see Ron and meet his wonderful family and the rest of the, at least Walter Day, who's a cool guy. You'll be able to meet them all at the Classic Gaming Expo, cgexpo.com.
Well, folks, that's going to wrap up this month's edition of Retro Gaming Radio. My thanks to the producer, Bryan Kid Hype Smith, all of the folks that have been submitting news and sending us great letters, and, of course, the controversial letters. We're happy to get any correspondence from our listeners, and we answer each and every one. Once again, this is Shane R. Monroe from Retro Gaming Radio saying, until next time, keep it retro.